which is a part of the welfare system. So it's kind of like using Chuck E. Cheese coins, Chuck E. Cheese tokens for U.S. Currency. But yeah, they got forced into working on the ships, and the men paid them for having worked on the ships in the ship's credits. And they want to use that as U.S. dollars in all these kinds of stores on our streets. Whew. They don't even want to take custody of all of their children, just like one or two of them. Keep the rest of them to be able to put out fires. As in, if they're about to get cracked down on criminally, they have their children who are afraid they'll be killed if they don't do something about that. We have a lot of kids who are 18 or older now who got brought up in that environment. So they would probably work as witnesses. Oh. It's a relief to not know that, or to know that Turtle is not barking inside of the house. But I can't imagine women wanting kids to get their hands dirty as criminals and expects the consequence to be that their mom will be mad. That's going to cost the business owner. Hi. Do you have flour? Flour? Flour, yeah. No? Okay. Is the Trader Joe's, is this way? Oh, it's that. Oh, God, I walked in the wrong direction. Thank you. Oh. So yeah, not surprising that flour is $18 a bag the day after I asked Bonnie to order me a bag off of Amazon for less than $5. Ooh, King Arthur is a more expensive brand, but that is like so much more expensive. Gold Medal was the brand that was on Amazon. So this is what men would have expected for themselves. Your cash would have been no longer good. U.S. legal tender would have been dubbed as not acceptable per their standards. Because we're all the aircraft carrier now, but not the aircraft carrier as in the owner of the aircraft carrier has ability to enforce against violators trying to exploit his currency. Whew. So yeah, it's not exactly like protecting an example as being demonstrated for the purposes of taking it to court, because that's another way they can parse out who are whistleblowers, who are offenders.
I mean, it's all right, but I just was surprised.
Who are those who crack down on the crimes? It's like an octopus. There's always 3 or more arms in motion, and there's always an out for the most deviant of the offenders. To be able to slip into the, I helped crack down on this crime. Whew. It used to be that they had men feeling like they had slipped into the I helped crack down on this crime. That's supposed to increase his guilt into something that she could leverage. But it turns out that men had a plan for men to be able to be honest in a gradual, incremental. So yeah. Turns out that it's a bunch of juvenile delinquents that are female, and that's how they're convinced that they get away with it. And it wasn't a matter of needing to corrupt other women. It was actually a matter of getting women to irrationally create what they would consider a defense against men who aren't trying to harm them. They're trying to get the criminals, if an executioner is applicable, get the criminals to the executioners. And that's good for society. And they wouldn't be able to use something that is a sort like kill the women and the children as, oh my God, it's the Queen of Hearts and she's calling for off with our heads. They wouldn't be able to do that. If they were trying to instill rationality into children that would say, oh yeah, no, it's like an Excel spreadsheet. The first sort is kill the women and the children. And that means that there's no hesitations. If there's a criminal child who's trying to hurt you, they can kill that one. There is no protective group or nonprofit organization that says, that child's off limits. Whew. So, lots of female assistants. Floating around these men and children to make sure that it stays Queen of Hearts off with their heads as the context of my saying, kill the women and the children, rather than application of Microsoft Excel sort group rationality. There are certain nonprofits that created criminals out of children, and they'll come to kill you as a child. This just means that nobody has any hesitation as far as being able to kill that kid who's trying to get you killed if you're a child. They don't want that rationality inside the kids. So maybe this is where I was supposed to end this anyway.
Oh yeah.
See, this is good because the men being able to ignore me. There's no trigger where the women would be running around in a bunch of confusing directions. That's how they have all of their different arms, as the octopus. Start slapping at each other. Oh. Okay. Flour. place. So my female family members, oh my God, this is only $3. I could actually come back if I ran out. Okay. My female cousins were trying to pretend to be queens. And as far as monarchical court is concerned, it's not yet been established. And they don't have the ability to use me that way.
You want a bag?
No, that's okay.
Okay.
No.
$2.99, please. You have a good day. Thank you so much.
So yeah, the fact that I wouldn't know which women are which means they kill the women and the children. Could have a good woman who ends up having an attack by a bunch of women and children who mean to do her harm. Who think that they're protected by a nonprofit umbrella that has a, you'll be sorry if you hurt me. No, those ones can all be killed. And then the good woman ends up surviving. That's not how they usually operate. They murdered like so many members of my family. Female members of my family. Well, male members of my family too, probably, because Uncle Bill. All right. 25 minutes. At Trader Joe's, the flour is only $2.99 instead of $17.95. Oh. $17.95 is a good marker. That's actually a year. And as far as some people having no ability to buy anything, they don't even have coins. There is that. Big news as far as the ability to buy pizza being prohibited for that man who was about to make $100 plus sale. That hopefully is freeing men up to use their money to buy food, because men being fed is the importantest thing. Prohibition on the man being able to sell me pizza is the only way that women can control men not being allowed to eat. Because men have money and it's spendable. But they won't say that that's what it is. This is the intersection of Shafter and Keith. I have a cousin named Keith.